Hey, what's going on, everyone? Vega here for another episode of Caffeine Crypto, where we go over this week's past crypto news, few articles, few things, few thoughts, um, and I welcome you to join me for your favorite caffeinated beverage of choice. I've been under the weather, so my voice might go in and out throughout the show. My apologies. I'll do my best to speak up loud enough for you to hear, but yeah. Been a crazy week. Illness wise, just got sick over the weekend, but more importantly, really fun week for crypto overall. We got Bitcoin, broke back over 95K. Of course, it's pulled back just a hair, down 1.15%. Ethereum's almost at 1800. XRP 220 basically. BNB over 600. SU was on a tear, but now it's down 7.7%. Still up in the $3 range when it was in the $2 range. Few of the altcoins doing really, really well. Matter of fact, you got Trump back above $15 at the setup of this stream. It was 1480, so it's pumping right now. Matter of fact, that's kind of got my attention. Let's go to Bird Eye real quick and take a quick look at Trump and see how it's doing on the Solana ecosystem. It is sort of trending up 12%. We got Bonk recovering pretty nice right now. Let's look at the chart. Yeah, look at that, right? So obviously that initial pump, we're nowhere near. We're down a significant percentage on that meme coin. We fell all the way down to basically, I can't even say that 83%, but we fell down pretty far. So the past 87 days for Trump meme coin was bad. But now the fall is only 66%. So still 66% for Trump to recover back to its all-time high. Will it do that? I don't know. A lot of excitement over meme coins is coming back. We are up 94% overall. I have like a little bit of Trump, but a lot of traders in it. You can see all the different pairs that are available, markets and stuff like that. Meme coins can be fun. I would just urge caution for whoever's trading in them. I've done a number of different videos for a couple key things that I look for when trading meme coins and what I use to trade and stuff like that. But I have taken a step back because I'm consolidating financially, personally, for all the different things that the channel members and subscribers already are aware of. But still, very interesting to me. If we go back to Bird Eye, so your top tokens, Let's Bonk, Bonk, House, CFX, with Trump and Pengu. If we look at SU, your top tokens are AFSU, Cetus, which is the actual exchange that I use to swap on SU, Octo, Deep, Pepe, Wall, Toilet, Ethereum. I never really played around too much with the Ethereum ecosystem, maybe a little bit, but not too much. I'm gonna skip past that. BNB chain, I participate a little bit, but mostly I use it for bridge pairs. Arbitrum, you got Ape, Aiden, AMD. I think that's Squid, WWMB. So a few different tokens seeing some gains. Not all tokens, but some tokens seeing some gains. This week, I believe a lot of the tokens saw some gains. But Brett up 10% on base. Pepe also climbing back up. And I'm not sure, you guys tell me in the comments or in the live chat if you guys still use Polygon. I have a little bit of exposure to Polygon, a very small amount of exposure, but not a whole lot. But still good to see that the market is recovering nicely. The question is, will we continue? Looking at the charts here, and let me know if you guys are here. Hit that like button for me and drop a comment. Thank you for stopping by first time. Adam Williams, appreciate you. Had a turn on third device to watch all 3 live streams. Who's live right now? Let's go find out. I know Crypto Mikkel's live. What's the 3rd live stream that you're watching? Just out of curiosity. Interesting. Let me know. I'm curious. But going back to the TA, basically this week is pretty good, man. The week is pretty good. Sunday, while we were starting to look like we were headed downwards, 83, climbed all the way up to 95, up 13.94%, which is good to see. Today's a little bit of a pullback. Could we have a pullback this weekend? I think so. I mean, if we really, like, you can see this trend line that I drew back here, that was kind of the bottom of the previous one that I thought we were gonna ride, right? Like, I thought we were gonna ride in here and then have a breakout, which didn't happen. We fell below it and then obviously stayed below it, but you can see where we hit that trend line that I made, right, as resistance, right, multiple times, and even this this other line right here, the downwards, continued as resistance because we hit it over here. We got close to it over here, hit it here and here, and then finally, you know, we just broke out of it on the previous week, or the 12th, 11th, 12th, stayed steady, making a new trend, but you can see the key resistance right here. And finally, we're like, you know what, 83, you could kiss my boots. And we dipped out, and now we are up that 16% that we were just talking about from that Friday. I measured wrong. And now, could we see a retracement, right? Where we maybe tomorrow we drop back down, hit this line, Sunday, Monday, and then climb back up. So that would bring us down to 92K, have a nice bounce, right? I think that's certainly possible. Not expecting it, but lately with Bitcoin, I've been proven wrong on a couple different things. So I wouldn't take anybody's TA as Bible. They'll give you their best estimation. Some of them are very good, but you know, just tread carefully. Try to dollar cost average and stack as much Bitcoin as you possibly can. Damn, Rudput's been a member of the channel for 26 months. Appreciate it. Good job. Appreciate your support. As always, thank you for your Friday notices. Love it. Yeah, no, Crypto Mikkel was live. What's the third? I wonder what the third stream was, Adam. Oh, okay. I see it. I see. So there's more. Okay, gotcha. Because I know Bits Be Tripping sometimes will go live and we overlap, but he doesn't often go live, so I don't want to overlap him because, you know, I want the community to gain that exposure. You know, a lot of people don't even know who Bits Be Tripping is, and that pisses me off because Bits Be Tripping is one of our forefathers in the crypto mining space, along with Daniel and Adam and so many others, and they don't even know who they are. So I like to pay respects to the OGs in the space and stuff like that, you know, much bigger than myself. But anyways, you see these red dots right here? And again, I'm sorry for some of you that are just tuning in. I've been sick throughout the week, so I'm losing my voice. It's going to go in and out throughout the stream. Bear with me. But these red dots, right? When we put these red dots, let's take a look at it real quick. Zoom in on these reds. All right, so one here, we had a pullback, small pullback. Here, we had a small pullback, but then 3 days after. Here, we had one pullback, but then we rebounded. Here, we had a pullback, and then we had 3 days of downward. Here, we had the red dot, again, 3 days of downward, but then recovered. And now we're putting it here. So does that mean the possibility of 3 days of downward pressure? Like I said, it's certainly possible. I could see us, you know, maybe next day drop down to 93.8, right? Monday, try to push up a little bit, 94.5, but we end up closing out at 92.8. And then the next day, you know, 92.7, something like that, right? So like a little wiggle downwards, but nothing too, just a short-term pullback, retracement, and then head on up, you know, because the stock market, a lot of traders, right? For example, Traveling Trader, not saying that was that the bottom of the S&P, was that the bottom of the traditional markets, not saying it straight up, but you know, it kind of feels that way. But there is always that chance, unfortunately, in today's world, where somebody with weight, with influence, with prestige can say something on social media or news that just really shake the markets, right? We got the Fed meeting coming up, I think, in May. We'll see how things go out there. You know, really, DJT saying that he wouldn't fire Jerome Powell because that created a little bit of uncertainty, right? Anytime you have uncertainty, the fear factor plays in. Really shored up the markets and people rebounded. They were a little bit more okay, cool. We're chilling out the tariffs and the craziness and the amounts. Talks are being done. He's not going to fire Jerome Powell, stuff like that, right? So shake the table, all right? Oop, spilled a bunch of coffee trying to shake the table. Shake the table, get everybody all stirred up, and then calm it down, make everybody come back, relax, and see how things go. Now, 5 charts predicting Bitcoin rally toward 100K. I think that's the biggest one. Can we hit 100K in May? And I believe the answer is yes. I don't know if we'll be making that new all-time high in May, but I was, again, been proven wrong in the past. The biggest one is the pre-halving pump. So we got BTC liquidations levels, on-chain data, and chart setup converge at 100K. Profitability has surged, suggesting a rebound in market confidence, and BTC breakout patterns point to 100K as a short squeeze and euphoria magnet, right? So short squeeze, we got a liquidation on the shorts, have a nice little pump up, go from there. But it has multiple, Bitcoin is flashing multiple technical and on-chain signals suggesting that a rally to 100K is possible by May. Here are 5 charts making the case for the near term, right? And this chart right here, showing we got the first bottom, second bottom, so double bottom breakout, right? So they're expecting that double bottom breakout. Momentum indicators like the RSI support this thesis, staying in the bullish territory with more room to expand. Meanwhile, the 50 and the 200-day EMA have flipped into support, offering additional tailwinds. Volume has remained steady post-breakout, showing that buyers are still in control. This setup creates a strong foundation for Bitcoin to push towards $100,600. But on the hourly time frame, Bitcoin consolidates inside a bull pennant following a sharp rally. The pattern indicates temporary indecision before the next leg higher. Targets near 100,000, almost 101,000, right? So here's the bull pennant target. So we're setting up for that. We got a falling wedge breakout targets, right? The 3-day chart shows a completed falling wedge breakout with the price breaking a key resistance near the 94K. So I would like to see us hold above 94K, right? Right now, we're at 94.3, but you can see we broke below it at 93.85. Will we be able to sustain it? That's a good question. We'll have to keep an eye on that throughout the week. The 94 to 95K resistance is now capping Bitcoin's upside attempts. Breaking it means Bitcoin could deliver its complete measured move above 100K. I think 98 is going to be a little bit of a trial and like a challenge, but we'll have to see how that pans out overall. Binance heat map shows liquidity magnet at 100K. So basically, long story short, you got a lot of different indicators, a lot of different measurement tools that are all flashing 100K in May. But just be cautiously optimistic. Don't go out there and bet the farm, sell the chickens, do something smart. Be smart with what you're doing and what your financial situation is, but accumulate what you can. ETFs, right? On a $3 billion bender, log first full weeks of inflows in 5 weeks. ETF analyst Eric pointed out how quickly spot Bitcoin ETFs can go from first gear to fifth gear, right? 0 to 60 real quick. On April 25th, the 11 spot Bitcoin ETF saw 380 million in inflows, bringing the total week to around 3.06 billion over 5 consecutive inflow days. Right, that's a lot of resurgence, a lot of interest, open interest, I guess you could say. Oh, good morning from Twitch. What's up, OG Dirty Socks? Appreciate you stopping by from Twitch. Yeah, I'm alive. I'm just struggling. And I got to be careful, I got to be careful around my dad, right? Cancer patients' immune systems, when they're getting that treatment, their immune systems are shot out. And I got to be very careful around my dad. When I was around my dad before I got sick, and I'm thankful I did, because the day after I saw him, I got sick. So I've been checking on him on a regular texting with him and stuff like that. He seems fine. I wore a mask on purpose, right? You know, I know COVID's not around, but again, being around an immunocompromised person, you want to be mindful of that. What's ironic to me, and you guys let me know, this is completely not related to crypto, but I went to the cancer centers or the cancer doctors or the specialists, and I see people in there that are not the cancer patients, but maybe the person helping the cancer patient go to their treatment or whatever, come in there full like sick as hell, flu, snotting up, coughing without covering their mouth. Like, do you not think, like, why are you bringing sick people? Like, maybe that's your only option, and you got to think about that, right? Grandma might not have anybody else in the family that will help her. Or maybe that's not even a family relative. That's just a neighbor who helps them out. That's their only option, their only choice for somebody to drive them to the center. So that kind of sucks. But like, if you're sick, and you go with a cancer patient to a cancer center, and now you're just sitting amongst a bunch of immunocompromised people, like, that makes no sense to me. That means, to me, that looks very selfish and it looks very stupid. But I could be wrong. Again, I don't know that individual situation. I just know I'm protective of my family, and maybe too protective. That's just me, though. Right? I really care about the old man. And I really care about my mom. Anyways, moving on back to crypto news. What's really notable here is just how fast the flows can go from first to fifth gear. We read that earlier. Bias trade back in effect, and we could see the chart of inflows, right? So in green, we saw IBIT get 240. We saw FBTC 108, ARC 11.4, HODL 8.1, and then Grayscale BTC 19.9. So total amount of inflows, pretty crazy. 38,402. And that interest is good. Amid the macroeconomic uncertainty, the spot Bitcoin ETF experienced volatile April, with 9 to 18 trading days so far being outflows. However, a strong surge of inflows over the past week has turned month positive, bringing net total inflows for April to approximately 2.26. I definitely think we're going to close out the month of the month of April. While March was a correction month, right? If we look back at it, I mean, February was a down month, and March was a down month. When it's usually a green month, which is odd to me. Tax returns started getting in the hands of pockets. Maybe that helped out the rally a little bit, but not as much as I was expecting. I would expect a little bit more besides the inflows. But I don't know if retail has the capability or the funds or the finance to really get into it like they did in the past. Especially because Bitcoin is such a high level now, right? When Bitcoin was at 10,000 or 9,000 or let's say even 16,000 back in the day, I could see people getting more involved, but they're probably looking at the altcoin saying, I want to get more of that versus Bitcoin. But I would say grab as much Bitcoin, even though if it's 0.0005, get as much Bitcoin as you possibly can in the future. It's your S&P 500 of the future, like seriously. But you can see April, while we started the first week and some change on a downward trajectory, I do believe April is going to close a green month, and we are parallel right now to the beginning of March, where we took another leg down. So I'm looking forward to seeing how things pan out over the long run. Just 2 days prior, on April 23rd, BlackRock iShares Bitcoin ETF, or IBIT, was awarded the best new ETF at the annual ETF.com ETF Awards. IBIT is also the recipient of the Crypto ETP of the Year. Meanwhile, Bitcoin spot price continues to hover around 95K, currently trading around 94.6. At the time of publication, according to CoinMarketCap data, institutions are continuing to raise their bullish price targets. Institutions are raising their bullish buy targets. We got some adjustments made. We had a lot of positive news throughout March despite the downward pressure. And I think it's just a lagging indicator. I think as we proceed forward in crypto, specifically Bitcoin, as we get all this positive news, right? And you're like, hey, the market continues to go down, but we're getting nothing but positive news. I would say count 30 days, maybe 45 days from that news point for it to actually show up. I know a lot of times we see things are priced in, but I think it might take some time after, you know, the banks approve this or the Fed approves that, or some of the rules impacting various crypto companies have been pulled back. I think that takes time to actually filter down and actually feel the effects in the overall crypto market. But Bitcoin post halving price performance is the worst on record. Why? I don't know. That's a good question. I want you to tell me. That's why I'm reading the article. But while it's true that Bitcoin rose to all-time high in months before the latest halving in April 2024, the percentage spike has not been nearly as sizable in the past cycles. Oh yeah, okay. We talked about this on the channel before. If you're not familiar, there's a lot of different things, macroeconomic factors, which I do call into the gains, right? So every time Bitcoin has had this leg up, the gains have gotten less, right? Like last time or at the very beginning, we might have 120%. And then the next halving, we might only had 100%. And the next halving, we might only have an 80% bump, and so on and so forth. As Bitcoin continues to grow, the explosive gains, because there are gains, but the explosive gains you might see aren't going to be as big as they used to be. And what I'm hoping for, let me bring you back here. What I'm hoping for is, what I don't like and what we saw a lot of in 2017 and the earlier days is a key individual, again, influencer, politician, whatever it might be. Let's say, for example, Elon Musk, to say something, he'll pump the price. That was a loud pop. He'll pump the price of Doge, and then, you know, he'll say something negative like Tesla stopped taking payments of Doge, and it will bring the price down. I don't want those people to have the influence they have over our crypto, right? And the only way to outstrip that is to grow beyond their capability, to grow beyond what their influence is or what their words will do. The words might still take it down 1-2%, but not 15-30%, right? So Bitcoin continues to grow. It becomes world renowned. Different countries are using it. Different banks are using it. Different individuals are using it, or using it as a store of value or whatever they want to do, or trade or whatever. Then even if Elon says something, even if a president says something, whether it's our country or another, it might only fall a percentage or two, not the larger amounts. That's what we want Bitcoin to grow to. And I mean, even Doge is doing pretty dang good. I mean, it's been pretty consistent in the 10 to 20 range for quite some time, and it's been the most consistent token you can mine through the bear and bull markets over the past few years. Let me know what your thoughts are about that statement in the comments or live chat. And I'll check live chat in just a minute. If you're trying to get my attention, send an @ or a super chat if you can afford to do so. I hate when people send me super chats and they're spending money they don't really need to spend. But just hang tight for me, otherwise I'll get to it in just a moment. Anyways, data provider Kaiko told Decrypt that though the biggest coin price is indeed up, macroeconomic factors have hindered it from making the same kind of gains, right? The overall conditions in the world market, the market we're in, the presidential election, the war in Ukraine, the uncertainty in Gaza, like there's just too much right here. The current period of high uncertainty. There's a lot going on in the world, and it just got everybody on edge, right? People are folding their hands or betting big, and nobody knows what the best way is or what the correct way is or what's actually going to happen. A lot of people try to predict stuff, and of course the current tariff situation didn't make things easier, especially with the numbers being all over the place, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, though. You can argue that with your mom if you want, but don't argue it with me because I don't care. Yeah, so Bitcoin soared to a peak of just 109K, right? We got to get back to that all-time high. Yeah, 109. I would say we got to break 109. If I say 109.5, then we broken it. But yeah, that's the reason why the gains aren't as high as they used to be. I wouldn't say, yeah, it's the worst on record, but the growth is there. The maturity of Bitcoin is there. And that's what we really should be happy about, okay? Price predictions, 425, Bitcoin, all bunch of altcoins, yada, yada, yada. Let's see here. Let's see what they got. So Bitcoin price prediction. Let's see here. A close above 95K could drive the BTC USD pair to 100K, right? So looking at 100K. On the bottom end, they're looking at 87. I can see that. For Ethereum, they're looking between, what are we looking at? A breakout level of 2100 or super bullish momentum of 2500 or pull back to 1800 or excuse me 1600, not 1800. On XRP, which is what right now, $2.20. All right, they're looking at 160 or 213, but we're already at 220, so we already broke that one. BNB push up to 680 or fall back to 566. Solana, they're looking at 180 or pull back to 110, and we're at 150 right now. Dogecoin, 28 cents or pull back to 14 cents. Right now we are at 18. So I mean, most of these doing really well. Cardano, I would like to see $1, but you know, they're looking at what, 83 with a pullback to 58. Sue, which this is probably old now, a pullback to 294 or 286 or a rally to 425. Well, it's not over because Sue did rally pretty good, but it is having a pullback, just a slight one, which is cool. It's good to have a good cool off period. You can't just continue to pump. You want to chip away at it little bit by bit. But yeah, so Chainlink has been one of my most underperforming assets. I really wish it would do a lot better. I haven't accumulated since the early days, and I'm really hoping that it will do great things in the future, but I may have just lost the farm on that one. You guys let me know what you think of Chainlink. But yeah, so 1181 or 16 for Chainlink. Avalanche 1527 to 23.5. What is Avalanche at right now? What is Avalanche even at right now? $0.22, but its all-time high was 55, right? No, its all-time high was way back here. What am I thinking? 146. Damn, that would be a nice day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna lie. I only have a little bit of Avalanche, but a 556% increase. Let's say, I'm just curious, what, 10 Avalanche? I don't even know why I'm doing the math for this. Times 146. It's 1,046. I mean, that's still not bad for the amount that you got in at. But yeah, those are some altcoin numbers that the charts are telling you about. Medtech firm Semler Scientific buys another 10 million in Bitcoin. Right, so we got another acquisition of Bitcoin by a publicly traded company, Semler Scientific. Nasdaq's symbol SMLR, a medical technology company, announced that in February and April 24th, it acquired 111 Bitcoins for 10 million. The coins were acquired on an average of $90,000 per Bitcoin using proceeds from its at the market offering program and available cash. So you got big companies, not just tech companies, but obviously other firms, scientific or otherwise, really gaining exposure to Bitcoin, which is absolutely a good thing. Sorry, I'm so quiet because I'm sick, guys. Thank you for bearing with me. Now, this is an interesting number. Bitcoin, 133K by 2035. That's crazy. I know some people, maybe Michael Saylor wants a $1 million Bitcoin by 2035. We'll have to see how things go. But yeah. Interesting. Clean Spark nears approval for Tennessee Bitcoin mining facility. Where's my Tennessee people at? Whether you're on X, Twitch, or YouTube. Anybody from Tennessee watching? I'm not sure if you can comment on the X post. I know you can comment on Twitch and on YouTube, but where's my Tennessee people at? Let me know. Let me check chat real quick. What we got here? Crypto Craig says people are still broke, and those who do buy are buying minimal BTC and lots of memes. And I can see that, right? They're getting some Bitcoin, but they're like, hey, I can get 2 million of this token, and if it gets up to almost 1 cent, you know, that could be a couple $100,000. Or I could buy Bitcoin and it could climb up to what everybody's thinking, $120,000, and I only went up, you know, a couple grand. So I could see it, but I would still gain exposure as much as you can. Max Voltage, good morning to you. I hope you're doing well. Zapirate, I get if I get the flu, I go to my GP, general practitioner, not the hospital. USA needs more preventative care. Yeah, USA needs a lot of things, my friend. I tell you one thing we don't need. Well, I'm not gonna tell you because I'm gonna piss a lot of people off. We got a lot of crazies though. Don't mess with USA. If anybody tries to invade USA, they're gonna have a hard time because Grandma's got a gun, Uncle Billy's got a gun, Mama's got a gun, everybody's got a gun. Be very tough sledding. Be very tough sledding. What else we got? Everybody's talking to each other. Retro Mike, what's up? All tracks saying good morning. Eat fruit, power food. Yeah, I need to get me some fruit. I need some. Oh, what's up, DJ Mines in the chat? Throw the 22s out, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's continue rocking and rolling. So, Tennessee people. Who's in Tennessee? Nobody's in Tennessee? Nobody likes Tennessee? By the way, Putz, I'd run the same thing. My cover's been off on my Octa server. Or not my Octa server, but my Octa miner. I can see why he might run is on his Octa server off. Depends on your airflow. Depends on your heating and air conditions. But he might have a different reason. Max might have a different reason. I can't, guys. My voice is just going. It's just going, and I got halfway through the show. I'm gonna do my best. Anyways, ClearSpark. All right, big mining firm. Got approval from Tennessee for another Bitcoin mining facility. I'm seeing facilities popping up left and right. I would really like to work and help out some of these facilities, but unfortunately, I'm not in the cool kids club. So for you guys that are in the cool kids club, enjoy, be safe, help those guys out, do the best that you can. Thomas Sherrill of Tomahawk reported that the property assessed $367,000 is and owned by his LLC, and Steve Brown of North Carolina would host application specific integrated circuits, or ASICs, for, they say ASICs designed to minimize noise and avoid the use of air cooling. Interesting. So maybe water cooled. The units would maintain sound levels akin to traffic along US 421, directly addressing previous committee apprehensions. Okay, so so the approval got approved because they had to design it in such a way that it meets certain conditions for the environment, for the committee, for the local people, right? We don't want you to be loud. We don't want you to use a lot of our fucking air. Here's what you need to do. So you're going to go hydro or immersion or whatever they're going to do. They just had to meet certain criteria. Once they met those certain criteria and said, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to hit those targets, low dBA, not use a lot of air, not heat up the air, we're going to do this. They got that approval. So very interesting. Looks like the mayor, Mr. Jordan, characterized the proposal as promising, though Sherrill's report noted Jordan's frustration over delays in finalizing the site's plan. The Tomahawk also reported that CleanSpark is awaiting the TVA energy plan decision, anticipated by mid-May. Working with the power companies can be a bear. If you don't know, ask Bits Be Trippin'. Which, by the way, if you're a mining firm and you don't know what to do, there are so many talented people out there and so many knowledgeable people. I would most certainly recommend Bits Be Trippin'. believe it or not, a small content creator with a lot of knowledge that people look over is Crypto Mikkel. Like the wealth of knowledge that some of these people have. Like, you're paying top dollar for some idiot that doesn't know shit about fuck, when there's somebody who could use that money and would do it and is humble and has humility and does want to help others, but just get paid to do it, is available. I don't understand it, right? Go for some guy that got a degree through Fiverr. Like, stop. Talk to some experts, people that's been in the space for years. Anyways, ARK Invest raises 2030 Bitcoin bull case, price target of 2.4 million. So originally, I think they were at 1 point something million, 1.2, 1 point whatever. So now they're saying, yeah, 1.2, right? ARK base and bear case estimates stand at 1.2, but now we're looking at 2.4 million. So 2035, we're looking at 800K. But some people are saying 2030, 2.4. Like, this is just crazy. Crazy. That would be huge, guys. That would be huge for the amount of the overall global market. I think Bitcoin hitting that number would help out so many people. Can you imagine El Salvador? After all that crap, can you imagine what that Bitcoin investment El Salvador did would turn into? Go golly Miss Molly, man. But yeah, but a lot of positive news. Bitcoin scarcity, low supply. We know all that, right? 21 million. There'll only be ever 21 million. Oh, this is something that got my interest. So I saw a bunch of articles about this. The Swiss National Bank, right? People were campaigning for the Swiss Central Bank to hold Bitcoin. They were fighting. They were like, hey, you should really do this. Hey, you should consider this. Hey, check this out. Hey, please add it. Please consider adding it. And they rejected it. Don't know why. If you're from Switzerland or you have connections with the Swiss Central Bank, I'll be excited to hear from you. Email me, DM me, whatever. Do you know why they're so hesitant? Do they really, like, I understand some of the money bugs, the fiat bugs, feel that cryptocurrency is, even though it obviously has value, or it's valued at what people believe it to be valued, they believe that fiat currency is more pure than crypto. But in reality, fiat is abused more than crypto and can be used for more nefarious activities than crypto. When you go do a big drug deal or a cartel deal, well, some of them do use Bitcoin and other, well, not Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin, but other altcoins. And that would be smart because Bitcoin is traceable. But when you go to a big drug deal or whatever, right, you're bringing a suitcase of what? Cash. You're not showing up with a suitcase of Bitcoin because it's digital money. You can't. Now, unless you get all the physical coins to have like seeds, and then the drug dealer's got to sit there and peel each one and type in the private key. That would be hilarious. That will be hilarious. Oh my God. If somebody does a drug deal with a bunch of those Bitcoin coins that have private keys that add up to the amount that they have to pay the seller, please record it. Like, hidden cam, I don't care. Record that crap. Like, obviously, like, blur out everybody's faces so you don't get caught. But I would love to see that. That would be so hilarious. Because if I was a drug dealer and I didn't know Bitcoin, and then somebody shows up with a coin, and it's like a bunch of like goldish coins that say Bitcoin on it, or the B, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm rich, and I gotta go back, and I realize, like, how do I spend this? Like, you can't just go to the store and turn in the coin. And I was like, how do I spend it? It's like, oh, you gotta peel the holographic thing or whatever, and get the private key or the seed phrase off of it just to spend. Oh my God, that would be hilarious. I could see that pissing them off so bad. But it would just, I mean, it would probably be bad for the buyer, right? Right? The buyer can get away with it and the seller doesn't know better. Cool. But if the seller knows better, you're just going to get blasted. So maybe don't do that unless you know you can pull it off and the seller's an idiot. That would be hilarious. I don't know. Anyways. Yeah, the local law enforcement can't seize it, Tech Man. But once you get the DEA and the FBI involved, they definitely can get your ass. I wouldn't use Bitcoin to do nefarious transactions. Maybe in the early days, that's why some of my Bitcoin and some of other Bitcoins have been taken by the government, is because it was used on illicit sites for nefarious reasons or for fun reasons. But yeah, the government, like Monero, do some swaps. There's some tumblers out there. There's some alternatives to Tornado Cash and stuff like that, that you can swap and obfuscate your identifiers and stuff like that. The hardest part people have is converting it into fiat. When you have to use those on and off ramps and convert it into fiat, a lot of the sources, at least here in the United States, unless you use different tactics, and there are out there, once you convert any crypto asset into a fiat currency, that's got to go into an account of some type or something that you can spend. And now Meta wants to offer you a card, but that requires a little KYC. Coinbase offers you a card, but that's KYC. NiceHash, KYC. Everything's KYC. So, yeah, you're gonna get caught if you continue to use Bitcoin and you're a big boy. If you're El Jefe, right? And you're using Bitcoin to process your transactions and do these deals, I would not recommend that. I would not recommend that. Swap it to Monero or some privacy token, transact that way, and then figure out a legitimate way. Well, I don't want to say all this. What am I doing? Jefe, I can't give you advice like this over the internet. You gotta go. We gotta talk offline. I don't even know who you are, okay? But I can't talk to you, and I can't talk to you on YouTube. So good luck. Just don't use Bitcoin, okay? Cartels run some banks. Some banks. And remember, like, even if the cartels or let's say any organization that is able to use banks or legitimate establishments, it's because they got people on the payroll. The problem is with people on the payroll is when you do something that pisses them off, they snitch. And snitches get stitches. So either you've got a tight ship and your bank's on lock, the people you can trust, the various personnel that you interact with that bank or through that bank or with that bank have to be on lock. Because the moment you're having to pay somebody to do a job is the moment you have a possible security issue. And people flip so quick, man. People flip so quick. It's so stupid. Like, they ain't built like back in the day, right? Like old school mafioso, old school, like, you ain't getting shit from me, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. FIF. But now it's all like, well, you're facing 10 years. It was him. They flip like quick. Ain't built the same. So be careful who you're doing business with. One sec. Anyways, XRP among 31 crypto tokens declared securities in a new Coinbase lawsuit. Right, so a new Coinbase lawsuit has XRP and 30 other cryptos declared as securities, right? Man, it's killing me. What are the 31 coins? We got some including Uni for Uniswap, Aave, Flow, Link, Maker, and XRP. We don't get to see the other tokens. Here we go. This includes, but is not limited to, units of each crypto securities further described below. So ADA, Algo, AMP, Ape, Atom, Avalanche, Axes, like Axie Infinity, which, by the way, is anybody even playing Axie Infinity anymore? CHC, Chomp, Dash. Let's see. Let's go for the ones I care about. EOS. Wow, that OG. ICP, Link, Matic. We already said Maker. Sand. So cool. Like to see that. But yeah, I don't see everything. And I notice there's no Ethereum, but that might not be all of them. Can I see the actual document? Or not yet? Where's the actual document? I don't know. We'll see. That's interesting to me. Crypto banking rule withdrawal by Fed. No progress made, says Cynthia Loomis. So Senator Cynthia Loomis suggests that crypto industry may be celebrated too soon over the U.S. Federal Reserve softening its crypto guidance. The Fed withdrawal of crypto guidance is just noise, not real progress, says the senator. Just lip service. Loomis, which we know is pro crypto, blah 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 blah, straight blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. Anthony says here, Pompliano says banks are about to FOMO into Bitcoin. We already knew that. Loomis then argued that the Fed continues to illegally flout the law on master accounts, and she relies on reputational risk in its bank, and it still relies on reputational risk in its bank supervision practices. It comes as a federal issuance depositor FDIC is working on a rule to stop examiners from considering reputational risk when reviewing bank operations, according to a Bloomberg report. Luminous also highlighted the Fed policy statement in Section 913, which hasn't been withdrawn, stating that Bitcoin digital assets are considered unsafe and unsound. She also reiterated many of the same staff behind Operation Choke Point 2.0 are still involved in crypto policy today. We are not fooled, she says. The Fed assassinated companies within the industry and hurt American interests by stifling innovation and shuttering business. This fight is far from over. I will continue to hold the Fed accountable until digital asset industry gets more than a life jacket. Chair Jerome Powell, they need a fair shake. Okay, cool. David Sachs wrote, and I think we got a comment, from Loomis saying, thank you for seeing what I see. Custodial Bank founder CEO Caitlin Long seemed to share a similar view to Loomis. So she said, thank you for seeing what I see. So yeah, they're still fighting a good fight. We'll see how things go. It is noise. Maybe trying to get the crypto bros off their back, but will it pay off in the long run? We'll have to wait and see. SU, 73% up this week. Matter of fact, let's go look at the SU charts real quick, and then we'll wrap up the day before Red Panda goes online. If you guys stay here, I will send you guys over to Red Panda, who will be on shortly in about 12 minutes. So hang tight. Stay with me. I do want to ask you guys some questions, so please do not hang up the phone, if you want to call it that. But look at that, right? So SU's all-time high. And this coin is only what? This chart only started in May 2023. So this coin is only 2 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Its all-time high was about 535, some 536, something like that. And you can see this week it's been on a tear. What is causing it to be on a tear? Because it started, our market blew up, but why did SU blow up so much more? Up 78% right now. All right, that's pretty good. It outperformed the rest of the market with a 5-day streak, helped by Grayscale SU Trust. There's your answer. SU was up 20% and 23%, 24 hours, 73% weekly, outperforming the top cap cryptocurrencies. The launch of Grayscale SU Trust and X Portal and X Money MasterCard partnership boost investor confidence. SU total value lock is 40% and daily DEX volume surged to 177%, signaling a strong ecosystem trust utility. Data from Cointelegraph Market Pro and Trading View shows SU rose from a low of $2.11 on April, climbing as much as 77% on an intraday high of $3.71 on April 25th. Okay, so we did hit 371. Damn, we actually hit 380. Damn. SU performance over the last 7 days made it the biggest gainer among top 100 cryptocurrencies. You can see here Trump was also one of them. Stacks, Dog with Hat, Fartcoin, Walrus, BitTensor, Immutable X, Caspa, right? Up back to 10 cents. I'm not going to lie. I'll tell you guys here something in a minute, but bear with me. SU officially out of stealth mode, says a post on X by Kyle Dupes. Grayscale just launched a trust. A social chatter is exploding, and SU is now sitting above Avalanche and Link in market cap. Huge market cap boost. This isn't just retail hype. Wall Street is stepping in to the SU zone. Momentum feels different this time. It's real, and it's accelerating. Added to the tailwinds is SU's latest partnership with X Portal and X Money, which introduction of virtual MasterCard, enabling 2.5 million European users to spend the token over at 20,000 merchants via Apple Pay and Google Pay, and its ecosystem is growing, right? Again, 40%. The total value locked has climbed up. We got 1.6 billion. Compared to other top networks, Su is well ahead of its rivals in terms of total value locked gain on the daily and weekly. Maybe not overall, but on the daily and weekly it is. Su's daily DEX volume has risen 177% over the last week to 500, almost 600 million. Is significantly higher than a 68 and 67% increase on BNB Chain and Solana, respectively. And maybe Trump coin ate a little bit of that, but it wasn't as great of a gain as Su. I wonder if there's any coins on Su that people are really going after. Su's price gained momentum after breaking out a falling wedge pattern, as shown in the daily chart below, after breaching a multi-month resistance trend line near $2.20. Su reached the wedge, technically target around $3.30. Bulls are now focused on the all-time highs of $5.35. The RSI increased from 45 to 78 April 20th, reinforcing the strength of the bullish momentum. However, the sustained ongoing recovery sees price to be the first to overcome the resistance at $4.50, $5.10 before going to price discovery. We are having a bit of retracement right now at time of filming, but I expect Su to continue upwards. And if you remember, I said a while back, your best bet, if you're not just going into all just Bitcoin, your best bet, in my opinion, for long-term growth would be to establish a position in network coins and different network coins. What I mean is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, ADA, Su, Avalanche, right? The base coin that network is built on and that people will have to use in order to participate in the network, to interact in the network, to use dApps or DeFi. If you could find all those network coins and there's, kind of like, what is it? dApp radar. I think that would be a good position. I think that would be a good position long term, not short term. You're not going to get rich quick, but if you can accumulate some of those network coins, have a decent mix, diversified mix of Bitcoin, and then the altcoins are primarily your network coins. When a Su blows up, you're going to be looking pretty good comparatively. Because when meme coin blows up, right, you got basically the main chain that takes off with it. Now, Su does have a lot of work to do still. But let's see here. DeFi TVL. Is Su not on here? Hang on. I don't even see Su on here. Where's the... How do you check that? I don't know. I'm blanking out. My head's hurting for some reason, guys. I don't know what's going on. My head is hurting. I can't think right now. I forgot the website. But we could go to Bird Eye, I guess. Click on Su. Yeah, I don't really see a coin that's blowing up. Maybe Pepe on Su. At least in the short term. But it's also not on the verified list. Which I wonder how you get on the verified list. You know what we should do? Somebody hit me up. We should probably launch Kuchi Coin on Su just to see how it does. I gotta figure out how to do that. That'll be interesting when I get better and I actually have time, which I don't have a lot of. But anyway, Su is doing good. If you diversify yourself between Bitcoin and some altcoins, and then obviously some traditional stocks, real estate, maybe some couple cars that you actually own and don't rent or lease. I think you'd be in gold. I think you'd be in a good position in the long run. But some of the altcoins that I looked at was I downscaled most of my meme coins and S coins into mostly network coins. Not a lot, just a little bit. I'm even if they hit you know, 3x their all-time high, I wouldn't be a millionaire. I couldn't quit my job. I couldn't focus solely on YouTube still. I'm still just a regular Joe. And even if I did become a millionaire, I would still be a regular Joe. I would still act like I'm broke because I don't I had an experience with that lifestyle. Not experience, but I got to party with some of those people, and while it was fun, it just not my cup of tea. It would be nice to be able to do the things that I want to do, like go to Bitcoin conference because I can and I have the money, but I don't. It would be nice to go to the Mining Disrupt conference in November because I have the money and I have the capability, but I don't. All that stuff. But as far as like rocking Bugattis and all that other crap, I wouldn't care. I would get a Koenigsegg because I like Koenigsegg, but you know, I probably would still rock around in a Camry or something, or a Honda. We'll see. Anyways, let's chat. Let's chat. We got Red Panda Mining going live here in a little bit in 3 minutes. Quick update. Looks like Red Panda is going to be talking about the unboxing of the GeoNet miner. GeoNet miner. Helium deploy. Wonder which one he got. Maybe the Geo Post. He probably got the triple band, maybe. Triple band is $695. The Pulse is $149. Coverage map. Pretty good coverage. Pretty good coverage. Chirp is on Sue Network. I wonder what this is on. RTK Network. I haven't been able to keep up with D-pins like you guys have, but I'm happy you guys are. And a lot of the content creators, right? You got Hawk that's been doing a lot of content on it. I believe the hobbyist miner. Tech Hustler's been doing a lot of D-pin content. He's really doing good on D-pin. I just haven't had any D-pin companies reach out to me, and I haven't been able to get that exposure. So I apologize if I'm not doing enough D-pin for you. But yeah, I'm appreciative of my colleagues who do a really good job of bringing you that content and that coverage. So I would lean on them and recommend you go over there. So is this its own network? I have to look into that. That's very interesting. Very interesting to me. About Global Earth Observation Decentralized Network. Yeah. GeoNet. Decentralized network for space weather. Yeah. Mining machine. I think I saw a hobbyist talk about that. Influence solar winds, blah, 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 blah. This is good data collection too. That's cool, right? Because getting this data would help out the scientific community if it is blockchain applications, mapping. That's cool. I like it. Good job. You know, like Demo, Helium Mobile, Helium, Grass. A lot of D-pins. I'm excited to see. I just want to see a network establish itself and stay. Because a lot of these guys start and then they just diminish. But, you know, it's been around since 2022. It's really started taking off at the end of 2023. And 2024 made a new all-time high, 36 cents. So, very interesting. Circulating supply. It doesn't have a max supply, though. But, yeah, I'll be interested to play around with some of these D-pin products. I love D-pins. I just don't get a lot of them because I don't get a lot of them, I guess. Anyways, let's see what you guys got in the live chat. Max says, you seem to know a lot about this. Oh, maybe talking about leaving the lid off. Son of Rabbit Panda, if you become rich, you won't tell anyone, but there will be signs. I mean, if I show up in a Koenigsegg, then yeah, there's your sign. But I don't, I don't really like that style. I don't really like that lifestyle. So it looks like Red Panda is live right now. I'll send you guys on over there. Real quick update besides being sick. I got some other content coming to you as soon as I can. It's going to be different, right? It's actually automotive. related, but I don't know if you're gonna like it. We're gonna see how it does. If not, it's gonna be on the secondary channel, SerpentX Media, which doesn't have any subscribers. But you know, I just want to get it out there because Joey's graduating soon. Congratulations to him at the end of May. I need to get a car working before he goes to college. I need to take care of Dad, who's having his transplant in the middle of May. Water heater is 25 years old, so should we wait till it blows up or should we prepare for it? We need to prepare for it. And, you know, got to take care of moms. And just got a lot of things I need to do. I am trying to drop breadcrumbs to my 9-to-5 job, like, hey, I need a raise. I don't know if they're going to bite. And this isn't making enough money for me to quit my job, at least not yet. And if it did make enough money for me to quit my job, I think I could do a lot more for you guys in the YouTube community. But it would require me to work with partners and vendors. And that's the question I want to lead to before I let you go and go to Red Panda. If you're watching this and you made this far into the video, please first hit that like button. But this is the first time I got, besides working with vendors in the past that may have sent me 1 unit for free, this is the first time I got publicly announced some KOL, right, from Ice River. And I need to know from you, do you guys not still trust my judgment? Do you guys still not trust me to be objective? Even if a unit has been provided for free, even if I'm working directly with that vendor, do you still have concerns about that? Because they already know, and in the wording of the document, they want me to be unbiased and objective. And you know, if something is crap, I'm always going to call it crap, right? For example, the AL2 Lite came out. A lot of people were hyped about it, but I found an issue. I guess a lot of people weren't talking about it. I talked about it, and all of a sudden I got a lot of attention and messages from other users experiencing the same, where the miner would just stop mining, still use electricity, so you're paying for that electricity bill, but not hash. So I hope that you would give me a little bit more trust that I would still be my just regular self, because this is just who I am. I wouldn't change that even if I was paid, and I wouldn't change that even if the vendor provided me a free unit. Now, granted, I get a free unit and thousands don't. I understand how that could be annoying to some people, but I will hope you give me the courtesy, and if I haven't earned your respect, I hope to earn it, but at least the courtesy to just be honest with you. Like, hey, yeah, I got this for free, but let me tell you what I think. Here's the data. Make the best decision for you and your situation, as I always recommend it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I'm trying to do right by a lot of people. That's just who I am as an individual. But I'm sorry if it upsets some of you and if I lost you as a subscriber or anything like that, just because Ice River announced me as a KOL. I'm still going to be myself. I'm still going to do what I do. I'm still going to talk the way I talk. And I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm just going to give you the data and the objective truth. That's it. And I hope that you would stay and not dislike me or dislike the videos or unsubscribe because of that, just because Ice River did that. And I don't want to upset the Son of a Tech fam, because I talked to Matt and I like Matt and I respect Matt and I understand both sides of the argument, but this is the first time my channel actually gotten somewhere with some vendor to where I can be announced as whatever and get devices. So I apologize if that upset you. I hope that I can earn your trust and your respect. And besides that, I hope you have yourself a great day. Do me a favor on the way out. Hit that like button, get subscribed, hit notification bell to stay up to date, as well as check out additional links in the description to help support the channel and what we do here. And have fun with Red Panda. I'll catch y'all later, okay?
Okay. I gotta be very careful I don't showcase the serial number, because I need that. There's a secret to register it on a hex, which